What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj. Today we got another college basketball type video for you guys. We're gonna talk about the 2017 draft class a little bit more, why this draft class could be one of the most historic draft classes of all time. It could be around, as good of a draft class as draft classes like the 2003 draft class, 96, 84, whatever. Those great draft classes. So without further ado, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and idea down below for a new video. Subscribe if you're new. Let's get into this shit. So I'm going to start with the top two players in this draft class. Now, these two guys might be the most overhyped two players in NBA history, or maybe self-hyped. I don't know. I'll explain what I mean by that, or like in college history, I should say. But these two guys have so much pressure on them to be NBA superstars. Like, if Markelle Fultz or Lonzo Ball, if one of them, doesn't become an NBA superstar, they'll be looked as a bust. It's like, well, we could have gotten more out of you. And why I'm saying this is because you see what these guys say, or Lonzo Ball, for example, it's his dad. And we all know about LeVar Ball, the comments he's been making. I guess the fact that LeVar Ball says that, he can beat Michael Jordan one-on-one, that type of stuff, that actually helps Lonzo Ball, because now it doesn't sound so crazy. People were focusing before on when LeVar Ball said, oh, Lonzo Ball can beat Steph Curry. He's better than Steph Curry. He's going to be the best player in the NBA. He's been saying stuff like that. But none of that is nearly as crazy as him saying he could beat MJ one-on-one. Or that he's better than, I don't think he said he was better than MJ, but he said he could beat him one-on-one, and that's ridiculous. That really took the attention off of Lonzo Ball, which helps. And it's like, well, this guy talking all this stuff about Lonzo Ball, how he's amazing. It's not as much pressure on Lonzo because now everybody already knows this guy just says crazy shit. Like, he said other crazy shit too. So it's like, okay, this isn't the craziest thing he said. So, maybe the source is just, at fault here. We don't have to. Lonzo's like, okay, well, it's not as big of a deal, at least to me. So Lonzo, but still, he still has a ton of pressure on his shoulders. We're hearing about Lonzo Ball so much. We're thinking about, okay, this guy, all the experts like, okay, this guy could be an NBA legend. He could be superstar in this league. And that's huge. He's got all the tools. He's elite in so many areas. And we're going to talk about him. But we're also going to talk about Markelle Fultz, who is the potential number one pick, I think, in this draft. Most people are saying they'd take him number one. Markelle Fultz, basically a 6'4" point guard with good size, good athleticism. He's all around, doesn't really have any weaknesses, which is awesome, fantastic. He can shoot the ball from anywhere. He can get inside. He can defend well. He has so many skills, and he can do so much. He's got to put it all together for an NBA team. And he said himself that he wants to be one of the best players. He said he wants to be the best player ever, or one of the best players ever. He wants to be an all-time great, or the all-time great player. That's crazy. I mean, everybody wants this, right? But Markelle Fultz has such high standards for himself. And this is a guy that he played on the freshman team as a freshman in high school. Yes, he did grow a lot. But you can tell this guy, he was an underdog from day one. He put in work. He got to this status. And if he puts it all together, man, he could be incredible in the NBA. So these two guys right off the bat, if these two guys excel and they become superstars, young stars, and we start to look at these two guys as the future of the NBA, then, maybe we could start building a foundation for this whole best draft class of all time idea. Let's get a little bit deeper now. We'll talk about Josh Jackson, Kansas small forward. This guy is incredibly athletic. He has great defense. A lot of people are talking about him as the third pick. I think it's pretty much been locked in that Markelle Fultz and Lonzo Ball are going to go 1-2, whichever way they do. It would be very interesting to see, somebody take a guy like Josh Jackson instead of Fultz or Ball. Maybe a team like the Phoenix Suns, if they somehow land the first pick, who are they picking? They got a ton of point guards. I guess if you get the number one pick, you gotta pick either Markelle Fultz or Lonzo Ball. You have to, in my opinion, because not only are these two guys the best two players in the draft, but if you pick one of these guys and you have a ton of point guards or they don't fit with your team, then you build your team around this player, or you trade this player for something really good, which, the Celtics might think about doing if they want to acquire a superstar like Paul George or Jimmy Butler. They give a team that number one pick, Markelle Fultz, Lonzo Ball. I think the Celtics said they were going to pick they're going to pick Markelle Fultz, I believe, if they get that pick. But, you know, Lonzo Ball should be right after Markelle Fultz, regardless of what team. It would be incredible to see a team pick someone else, someone that's not these two guys, if they have the 1 or 2 pick. That would be crazy to me. So Josh Jackson's the third guy, and he's a pretty athletic guy. He plays good defense. His jump shot isn't really there, but besides that, he's fantastic. I mean, he looks to be one of the great players of this draft class. I think if he develops that jump shot, then there's nothing stopping this guy from being an NBA superstar. But however, it's been hard for guys like this to develop consistent jump shots in the NBA. I mean, there's a lot of players you could point to that they did develop their jump shot, like Kawhi Leonard. You could look at what they're doing. And then there's guys that they didn't develop their jump shot, like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. You see what guys like that are doing. It's a huge gap. You gotta get that jump shot down. If you don't, you can still find ways to hurt the defense. You look at what Giannis Antetokounmpo is doing. That guy doesn't really have a good jump shot, or that good. I mean, he's developing it, but he's still extremely dominant without it. I mean, he does have that crazy length, but still, we can see it's possible to be extremely effective without a working jump shot. Now, Jason Tatum, a small forward from Duke. This guy's pretty crafty. He can shoot the ball. You know, him and Josh Jackson, I'd still take Josh Jackson just because of that upside. I think this guy could be crazy at full potential. But Jason Tatum is a guy, like, you know what you're going to get, okay? He's going to score a bunch of points for you. His defense isn't as good as Josh Jackson, but he can still play some defense. He's pretty athletic, you know. He's got a few tricks up his sleeve. He's pretty good. I think that he could be a very good NBA player, an above average NBA starter, and even a star. You know, I think that this guy could be a star. I don't really see it happening, but you know, he could be an NBA starter that puts up 16, 17 a game. I mean, that would be nice. Then we get to Malik Monk, shooting guard out of Kentucky. Malik Monk is extremely explosive, athletic. He can shoot the basketball. He's an all-around scorer. He's a guy that just puts the ball in the basket, which is great, except for the fact that he's undersized. He's 6'3" shooting guard. There's clear strengths and weaknesses with Malik Monk. The guy's gonna struggle on the defensive end in the NBA. I mean, I think that's gonna be a given. He's 6'3" as a shooting guard. There's really not much else to say about that. I think that, you know, you could have your matchups in a certain way that, you know, he plays the guy that's, you know, less harmful to the defense. You switch him on to guys that, you know, aren't gonna do as much damage. But on the offensive end, there's absolutely no ceiling for a guy like Malik Monk. He's a scoring machine, okay? He can get his points anywhere in the paint. Outside, he's got good range. He can shoot the basketball. I see this guy, he could put up 20 points a night in the NBA. But as a scorer, he could be a sixth man or a sixth man of the year type, Jamal Crawford type player. Or he could take that next step and become a, you know, CJ McCollum, or even better than that. You know, he could just be an incredible scoring player. Now, I'm gonna just name off a few players. This video is about 8 minutes right now. We're gonna talk, or I'm gonna mention Dennis Smith Jr., extremely athletic point guard out of NC State. He can go top 10. Jonathan Isaac is a guy that's very, very slept on. To Aaron Fox from Kentucky as well. You know, these are just names really for you guys to get used to. We're gonna be hearing a lot about guys like this. These guys are gonna take over the NBA. Now, not all of them. A few of these guys, like a few in the top 10 players, you're not gonna hear about. Maybe they'll be bench players, but it never works out for an entire draft class. Not everybody can be a star, but some of these guys will be stars. That's guaranteed. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. If I had to go with my mock draft top 5, I'd say I'd take Fultz 1, and obviously it depends on what team is picking, but I think Fultz is the best player in the draft, followed by Lonzo Ball, then Josh Jackson, probably Tatum after that, and then maybe I go with, it's hard. I have to choose between Dennis Smith Jr. and Malik Monk, both very good players. But yeah, if you want me to do more college basketball videos, talk about prospects more, I could definitely do that. It's March Madness, it's that time of the year. So yeah, let me know what you want to see. Fultz and Ball, future superstars, they could take over the league, but we'll see. You know, hopefully those guys can both be stars, because I don't want to see one of those guys fall out and then just not be heard from a lot throughout the NBA. That would be kind of embarrassing considering all the hype going into them. So yeah, that's it. Like if you enjoyed, comment I did down below for a video, subscribe if you're new. I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.